it's Jane O'Halloran, founder of True to You, Midlife Women Reclaiming Their Identity. So just to let you know, if I'm looking to the side, I've got two screens. So any comments that come on my Facebook feed, looking over there, that's why. Thank you for joining me. I've called this video The Secret to Rising Above Fear and Isolation, even if you're the biggest worrier out there. And I called it that because I used to be the biggest worrier out there. You know, when I was a small child, I was always worrying about something. I used to worry that my parents wouldn't come home when they went out. I used to be very shy. I had very few friends. I used to constantly worry about all sorts of things. I never had a party when I was little because I worried that nobody would come to my party. So I was a natural worrier, very anxious as a child. And as a young adult, I had quite severe anxiety and depression, and very low self-worth. So that's just a bit about my background. That's how I was, you know, naturally the biggest worrier out there. So just to reassure you that it can be done, because that was me. And somebody recently posted in the group or asked something, or they told me that they had COVID related anxiety. And that is such a big thing, isn't it? Because, you know, we're anxious anyway, or you may be anxious anyway, let's say. And life is so uncertain right now. It's like everything that we thought was secure or we knew about, it's just like everything's changed. Nothing is the same. We just don't know. There's so much fear and anxiety and uncertainty out there, and it's that unknown. And I think right now we're entering into another phase. You know, we're coming into winter and we're facing more restrictions and the virus is on the rise and all of that, and there's that cloud of uncertainty. And what happens with that is that your brain goes into survival mode and it's on high alert for threat. And that's, you know, the brain is designed to do that. The brain is designed to keep you safe. So, you know, that's what it does. And it goes into threat. It's looking out for threat because it's saying that everything's uncertain and it's unknown. And when the brain kind of goes, that's unknown, often then it will go into danger. So anxiety is heightened in you and in all the people around you and on the television and on everything. In fact, I actually did a little video on my, I think it was on my personal profile about some tips for that. So check out my personal profile. But, you know, so there's so much fear around us that it gets magnified and magnified. So we've got all that going on. And my personal situation at the moment is very uncertain. I have recently divorced. I'm living on my own for the first time ever in 55 years. Well, I tell a lie. I've got cats. I've got my cats. But I'm on my own, completely on my own. And with what's going on, you know, I don't know whether I'll be able to see people. I need to move house. My whole life is uncertain. But I can honestly tell you that I mostly feel calm, positive, at peace with myself. Right now I do. And as I told you at the beginning, that's not natural to me. You know, as a child, I wasn't like that. As a young adult, I wasn't like that. So all of the things are against me in a way. My own natural way of being, my programming, my personal circumstances and the world around me. And yet in the middle of all of that, I am feeling calm, positive, mainly, okay, I'm still human, and at ease and at peace with myself. And I know other people who are at ease, at peace with themselves, who feel calm, who have a positive outlook. So how do I do that? How do I do that? Well, I guess most of our suffering is because of our thoughts. Um, there are things, yes, that we have to deal with, absolutely, in a practical sense. But if you've thought about, a lot of your suffering is fear about what might happen, fear about the unknown, fear about the future, fear about just fear in general. And that's our thoughts being magnified in the body, in the head. And then your body will respond to those thoughts with the corresponding emotions of fear, insecurity, panic, frustration, anger, loneliness, and all of those things. And it becomes a vicious cycle, and it makes us more unstable. It's like a vicious circle. But the good news is, and the thing that I've learned, is that you can learn to deal with all of that. You can learn to deal with your thoughts and your emotions. You can change your programming. And that's what I did. And ask yourself, is this a priority right now for you to deal with what's going on in your head? Okay, because there's lots of things we can't control. The world out there, but we can learn to reprogram ourselves to calm that whole feedback loop of fear, anxiety, thoughts. You have the thoughts, and then the body responds. You can learn to reprogram all of that. So ask yourself, is that a priority right now for you? Is that the thing that's going to have the most impact on you? And the skills and the tools and the practices that I've been learning these past few years, those are the things that have enabled me to rise above fear and isolation. And it's such a gift. It's the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. And my self-worth used to be pretty near zero, I'd say, pretty near zero. My confidence, my self-worth, I really didn't love myself at all. I didn't even like myself, probably despised myself, if I'm honest. But no more, no more. And what I was thinking about the other day was that in the West, we are taught science. In school, we're taught science and maths and English and literature and music and all of those things, and art, and all of those things are really important. But we're not taught how to deal with our thoughts, how to deal with our emotions, how to conserve and harness our energy, how to rise above challenges. We're not taught how to find steadiness and stillness and peace and a positive outlook. We're not taught how to love ourselves. We're just not. We're just left to get on with all of that. And that's what we need to learn. And I was thinking that it's kind of all these skills and these tools and these practices and this perspective and this knowledge and this wisdom, it weaves together in this amazing blanket, and that blanket wraps around you, and it protects you from those, that fear and uncertainty and isolation and all of those things, like a blanket would protect you from the cold. Imagine you went out on a freezing cold day with just your underwear. You'd be freezing, you'd be exposed to that cold. But if you had a really big, thick blanket around you, it would protect you from that cold. And that is what that knowledge, that wisdom, those tools that I practice, that I teach, that is what that does. It gives you that blanket so that you're not left to get on with it. You're not exposed to everything out there. You're not at the mercy of all of that, and not even at the mercy of your own thoughts. That blanket, It just gives you protection. It gives you a feeling of, you know, when imagine if you've been upset, and it's a natural thing, isn't it? Somebody comes and they just wrap a blanket around you and you feel held and nurtured and nourished. That is what that is like, that knowledge. Um, there's tools, there's skills, there's practices, all of those things that we're not taught at school. But perhaps think about that. Is that something you do need to learn? Is that was missing in your education? And I've seen other people use this. I've seen my clients use this, and it's amazing. You know, to finally start to love yourself, to know how to deal with your energy, to find inner calm and peace and just be comfortable with yourself, you know, and it's accessible to all of us. Okay, you don't have to be a special type of person, you don't have to believe any particular thoughts. It's accessible to all of us. Just need to be open, really, to learning it, to practicing it. So think about it this way as well. So we get lost. I love analogies, I love imagery, but we get lost often. The world takes us off in different directions all the time, often ones that are not helpful. But imagine somebody's got a light and they're like a lighthouse, you know, and they're shining that light constant and steady for you, so that when you go off track a little bit, you can see that light, you come back to that light. It's your compass, it's your guide. You're constantly being led back to that light. And that's what it's like, having these skills and tools in your life, and having a teacher in your life, and having a mentor in your life. It's somebody who holds that light steady. And I have that for me, because I go off track, and our minds are so sneaky, you know, our ego, it talks us into all sorts of things that are not good for us, and we go off track. It's part of being human. And yet, if there's that light that's shining steady and strong, we can always come back to that, and that's just a wonderful feeling. And that is what gives you your certainty. That is what gives you your stability. That is what gives you your sense of being grounded, your sense of belonging, not what's going on in the outer world. That light that shines to keep you steady. And you know, just thinking about that, for me, that gives me so much certainty, that even in the uncertainty of my life and the world, I've got that certainty. So perhaps the world now is giving you an opportunity to do something, to make a change. Perhaps it's just pushing you far enough that you decide, enough, I need to make a change. So if you want to find out more about all of that, just connect with me. You know, I'm really happy to talk to people. Absolutely. And, you know, take this opportunity to gain the courage to finally step into your power, because that's what it's about, stepping into your power. And you have that within you. You just need somebody to shine that light for you, to wrap a blanket around you, and to show you the way. Okay, so thank you for listening. Let me have a quick look. Thank you for joining me, guys. I've been Jane O'Halloran. Hope you, if you're listening on the recording, that's great. You know how to contact me, and I'll see you on the next video. Love and light.